said Fitch has used outdated data, and what folks have pointed to is that they've cited January 6th, and we've gone farther from January 6th in the Trump presidency. But an alternate explanation could be twofold. One, that they foresee Donald Trump as having a higher chance of reclaiming the presidency in a couple of years, or two, that regardless of that, they still see government spending as having increased and government debt having increased significantly under President Biden's tenure. I was wondering if you can talk about whether the White House or the administration needs to change anything in their conversations with Wall Street, and if those specific concerns have been relayed to the administration.
So a couple of things. When I say outdated data, what I mean by that is, as I just laid out, what we see Bidenomics has done, unemployment rate, jobs growth, wage being stronger, consumer confidence, those are real data, right? When you think about inflation, core inflation kind of easing, right? And we've seen that consistently for several months. And so those matter, right? Those are incredibly important. That data is important. And so that's part of what we see, we believe, as being outdated data. Look, as it comes to, as it relates to the debt limit, that's why you see the bipartisan infrastructure legislation dealing to helping put the debt down. When you think about the Inflation Reduction Act, every piece of legislation that this president, the historical pieces of legislation that the president has passed, helps bring down the deficit, right? And when we talk about the president being able to lower the deficit,
not the first one. The first one added to the deficit pretty significantly.
All right. Okay. But we hear it talk about the more than $1 trillion over the first 2 years, more than any other president in their first 4 years, right? I mean, that's something that the president takes very, very seriously. And when he puts out those policies, he does it in a fiscally responsible way. And so that's how he's going to move forward in doing that. Look, I mean, you mentioned January 6th. That's something for clearly the agencies to speak about that more broadly, more specifically. But what we're talking about is the real data that you all look at. CPI, you know, when you look at the GDP, we saw the GDP that just recently came out that was better than we had all anticipated. And so that all of those pieces of information is critical and important as well.